Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Danielle and I'm so excited to be sponsored by Moda brushes for today's video. So we're actually going to be talking all about their Moda Pro 4-piece face perfecting kit. This kit has 4 awesome brushes in it that are super versatile, so you can create a bunch of different makeup looks and use the brushes with a lot of different products. Another really awesome thing is that you can find this kit at your local Walmart and at walmart.com. So a couple things about the kit. I'm going to be showing you exactly how I use the brushes and all the different ways that I use them, but these brushes are excellent for blending out your concealer, your primer, your foundation, and even your moisturizer. They also have waterproof handles that have a silk touch finish, as well as a sturdy and flexible handle for precise application. And on the back of this kit, it's going to tell you all about the different brushes. So I am going to be using these brushes today, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about them before we dive in. So the very first brush that we have is the largest brush in the collection, and this is the 801 brush. You can use this large brush for all over cream or liquid foundation application, and you can also move the brush in one fluid movement over your face to apply and blend. The next brush that we have is the 802 brush, and you can actually use this brush to apply blush or bronzer for a stunning glow. Next, we have the 803 brush. You can use this brush to create a flawlessly blended contour under your cheekbones, along your jawline, or at the hairline. And lastly, we have the 804 brush. This small brush is perfect for precisely applying concealer, blending makeup under your eyes, or for contouring your nose or other small areas of the face. So again, I'm so excited to share with you guys how I personally use these brushes, so let's dive into the tutorial. Okay, so I'm starting off with a pretty much blank canvas because today we are going to be concentrating really on the face and that flawless complexion routine. The first thing I'm going to do before we get started is I'm going to go in with a primer. Now, I do really like to use a primer anytime I want my makeup to last a really long time, just because, one, it's going to give you longevity with your products. It's going to give you a barrier between your makeup and your face. And then also if there's things that you want to cover up, like pores, or let's say you have oily skin and you want something that's going to make your face really matte, you can do that with a primer as well. And so that's always my first step when doing my makeup. So typically I don't have a lot of breakouts going on, but today I have a little bump on my nose and then I have a couple little red spots right here. I like to make sure if there's anything like that going on before I put my foundation on, I spot conceal. So I'm going to go in with a concealer that's actually different than the one I would typically use underneath my eyes. This one's a lot more tackier. So for this, I'm going to go in with the 804 brush. So I'm just going to dot it on my brush like this and go in, and it, as you can see, just puts a little small dot. If you go in with a really big brush, you could put too much product on your face. And again, I'm just going in on the areas that I want to kind of conceal or cover up before we go in with the foundation. Next, we're going to go in with the 801 brush. I love a really full coverage look, and one thing that I've found with this kind of foundation brush is it doesn't really soak up a lot of the product, and I feel like it actually applies with more coverage because it's not soaking in your product. So a lot of times I feel like I use less makeup, and it's actually faster for me to do my makeup with this brush. So I put a little bit on the brush, and I'm just going to start going in circular motions on my face. As you just move it around your face, I mean, it's blending, it's putting the product on, it's smoothing it out. It's basically doing everything in one motion, which is really great. And again, I'm not really even putting that much product on because it really gives me a lot of coverage with not having to waste a lot of my product. And I like to keep my finger up at the top here, just so that way if I need to apply pressure in any areas, I can do so with my finger being right there, and then I can kind of smooth around the face. Okay, so I've really blended that into the skin, and I also will use this to apply my powder. I don't know if you guys can tell, but even after all of that, it's not like this brush is like liquidy or wet feeling, because again, it doesn't soak up a lot of the product in the brush. So I actually will use this with powder afterwards too. Next, we're going to take the 803 brush. So I'm actually going to go in with a little bit of concealer, and I'm going to use this to blend out my concealer. Now, since it's still a smaller brush, I feel like it's really great because you can get up in the areas underneath your eye or like down right here by your nose to blend out. And a lot of times I do wear my concealer a little bit lighter underneath my eyes, but I always like it to blend in with my foundation. So I will go back in and just kind of sweep this across just to make sure that it's nice and blended. And I'm just doing the same to the other eye with the concealer. So far, this hasn't even taken that much time just to put the actual makeup on, besides me talking a lot. Okay, so next I'm gonna apply a little bit of powder underneath my eyes. I'm gonna be using the 802 brush for this, and you also can use this to apply bronzer or powder, blush. I'm gonna put a little bit on and then tap it out. But just, I'm gonna go right up underneath the eyes just to kind of set the concealer. And I always kind of just like move the brush down just to really make sure it's set in. Now I do like to set my actual face, but I like to set it with something that's a little bit closer to my skin tone as opposed to like a brightening powder like we just put on under the eyes. So what I'm gonna do again is I'm gonna go back into this brush. There's really, like I showed you earlier, no product really on it. I think it's just like, you know, colored from the foundation. I'm gonna take a powder, and as you can see, it definitely applies at very full coverage. We're just gonna apply that all over the face. And this is a pressed powder that I'm using, and it's actually a little bit darker than my foundation, but that's okay. I feel like overall it still matches my actual body. All right, next we're gonna move on to the fun stuff. So we're going to do bronzer, blush, and highlight. Okay, so we're gonna go back into the 02 brush. We're gonna put a little bit of bronzer on it. And I like to kind of just keep this right underneath the jawline. Now the great thing is you can really almost do like a contour with the bronzer, as long as you're going in and like blending it out. And it gives me like a nice precise line for bronzing, but it just looks really blended. And you really just, again, you don't have to do a whole lot to make your makeup look blended with these brushes because they really do the work for you. We're gonna go back in with the 802 to blush up the face. I did actually clean it off a little bit because obviously with blush, I didn't want any kind of like bronzer or anything in there. I like to start at the front of my cheek just to make sure the apples of my cheek are nice and bright, and then I kind of work my way back, and then I'm gonna do it again on this side. Next, we're gonna take a little bit of a highlighter with the 803 brush. And this brush is great because it's going to actually really pack that highlight on, or you can just put a little bit on and blend it out. But it's great at being precise exactly where you want it to go. I feel like sometimes whenever I use a highlight brush that's just like different bristles than this, it can make the product kind of go everywhere. Like you can't be super precise with it. With this one, because it is small and it has those dense packed bristles in it, you really are just applying it right where you're putting the brush at. So you don't have to worry about it like being up too far or like flicking and going up underneath your eyes. And lastly, we're gonna take the 804, and we're actually gonna be using this for the lips to finish off the rest of my face. So since this is a precise applicator, I don't even feel the need to get lip liner because I'm actually going to be taking the product right along the lip line where I want it to go. And it's a very controlled brush, so you don't have to worry about it like kind of going all over the place. And you can really get in on the tops of your lips to get that rounded effect. Okay guys, so this is the finished look right here with the 4 Moda brushes. Again, these brushes are so versatile. You can do so many different things with them, and you can really use them for your whole face as well as even skincare. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to go check them out. They're going to be in stores at Walmart, so you can go pick them up at your local store. And yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And also a big thank you again to Moda for sponsoring today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!